I mean, it was like my first week here. When I had a lot to do.
Connor Kern looks like a Who from Whoville.
A little bit.
Doesn't he? Hi, Coach.
So,
Saw you running out there.
yeah, how you doing? Nice.
Brave. It's hot out there.
Hopefully your line is short.
Bo Brody?
Yeah.
Well, it will be.
There's no way it's gonna be longer.
He said it's at West Ashley.
Yeah, they said it was only an hour there. Mine was at that church.
Oh, really?
That winter play you on Jacksonville.
Oh, he's not?
He thought there'd be enough time after surgery for him to be able to leave his son, but he decided to stay back. That's before you can just intimidate these guys.
This guy. Not large stature.
Hey, we're using Roy's to try to intimidate them. We need to put out a "We Got Next" graphic as soon as Bama puts their post-game graphic out on Saturday.
I'm down. Coach, we're trolling FSU or LSU if we score.
Oh, jeez. Yep.
I'm immediately tweeting at them.
Let's do it.
So I'm gonna need you to
today's press conference. The Bulldogs are coming off a 38-24 victory on the road at Western Carolina. They will be at home this weekend at 2 o'clock on Saturday for homecoming, taking on Sanford. Here to talk about the Bulldog program is head coach Brent Thompson.
Thanks, John. A couple things. First is I'm really just pleased with the way that our guys finally finished a football game, something that we'd been looking for all year long. We had a couple of good football games that we played, but I don't think we really finished, and sat up here last week after the Furman game and was disappointed in the way that we didn't finish that game, and I thought we came out this week, played a below average first half of football, turned the ball over, let up some big plays and things that we can't do to win football games, and back in the second half and had a lot of young guys competing, had 2 block kicks, had 2 quick scores, and then were able to move the football and get a couple of stops on defense. And that's a testament to a lot of players. We played a lot of young guys, and we had 5 guys suspended. All 5 guys served their suspension this past week. They will all be back this weekend. The starting quarterback, Brandon, will be the starting quarterback this weekend, and moving forward. He's done a good job, prepared all week as the starter last week. Did a good job, and I thought he did a good job of managing the game. Other than just a couple of turnovers, he played a pretty good football game for his first day out. I'll take any questions.
What's been the big difference between him and Jordan?
Well, it's really just been a little bit of a shift in the style of play, and what we've been able to do as far as just running the football inside a little bit more. It was kind of a built to suit kind of a offensive game plan for last week for Brandon to be in there. We were going to try to find ways to get him the ball and just get downhill with him. Jordan was more of a perimeter runner, and Brandon is more of a downhill runner, more similar to where we were with Dominique Allen.
Sanford can score a ton of points. Just how do you shift and kind of keep the ball away from? I mean, I know your time of possession offense, anyways, but how do you kind of guard against that explosion?
Well, the same thing. I thought Western Carolina can score a ton of points too, and they got in a shootout, and we certainly didn't want to get a shootout with those guys. We don't want to get in a shootout with Sanford, and just like you said, is we've got to be a ball control team. We've got to be able to possess the ball and move it down the field. Number one thing when we've had a good game against Sanford is we've kept them to the short passes, and that's been a little bit challenging for us this year. There's a fine line between getting pressure on the quarterback and dropping into coverage. Last year was one of those years where they came out and shocked us with a couple of trick plays, got a pretty big lead on us, and it was very difficult for us to battle back. We've got to guard against that, stay in the ball game a little bit longer than we did last year, and keep the ball in front of us a lot longer.
Seems like Raleigh's just kind of like a big player, home run hitter kind of guy. What's been his key this year? He's always in the right place at the right time when you need a big play.
Well, the key with Raleigh was he started off on defense, so last year was his first year playing offense really ever. They had given him a couple of snaps in high school of just go out there and run a fade route. So we practiced him a little bit his first year here on offense and defense, transitioned him over to full offense last year. He's finally figuring out how to play the position. He worked hard. He works hard every single day. He gets extra weight room time. But the biggest thing I think he's worked on his hands, his concentration on the football. As you see, he can do it with his feet as well as his hands. Last week we were just looking for a way to get him the ball. It wasn't going to be in the pass game because they were backing up. They saw what we had gotten on Furman the week before, a 91-yard pass or so. So when you see that, we got to try to find different ways to get him the ball, and we'll continue to do so. Moving him around helps. Also putting some other guys in there. Ryan McCarthy, he can take some of those reps as well and play a little bit of a different role for us in the wide receiver spot.
Obviously, wins on the road, not at home. Why do you think you guys have been so successful on the
Funny,
road?
Brian, I was asked that same question last week, and I'm going to say that's probably the same thing. It may be the curse of the East Side stands. I don't know. But to be honest with you, we hope to solve it this week. Like I said last week, maybe it's just not used to being home. But something maybe about being on the road. We all kind of get together a little bit more smaller of a group, that kind of things. But hopefully we figure it out and solve it, because ever since they took those stands down, we have maybe won 1 or 2 games here.
I know we asked you about him earlier in the year. He's kind of been a Swiss Army knife for you. Does a little bit of everything with Dante. Obviously, came up big with the touchdown on Saturday. As a freshman local kid, he has to make you pretty proud to see what he's been able to do.
he's been a phenomenal player for us in all aspects of the game. He's whether it be special teams, getting kicks, getting blocks, and those kind of things, or whether it be on the offensive side, making blocks and catching the ball out of the backfield. He's gotten so much better over the course of the year. He's been able to develop himself in all the skills. We were fortunate enough to be able to redshirt him last year and develop him and grow him. He's gotten some really good weight on right now. He's a guy that's been relatively unknown, but we all kind of knew that his potential was there, and we're excited for the future. We've got 3 more years left with him, and he's going to continue to grow and get bigger. But beyond that, he's a phenomenal young man. He's great great student, and he does well in the core.
Just with the suspensions, you still found a way to win. Is that something that is kind of a rallying point for this team now? With Jordan not being the starting quarterback, is there a decisive shift in this team after Saturday?
You know, I guess my comments to the team after it all were, we're going to move forward with this. They've served their suspensions. I made a decision, and I made a decision based upon many factors that we needed to move forward on, and I think we need to move forward on. It doesn't need to be a rallying cry or anything. It just needs to be, hey, we're going to go out there and win with the guys that are out there on the field. It doesn't matter who they are, what age they are, how long they've played here. We just need to go out there and compete. The biggest thing, Darren, that I thought we saw was guys came together. At the end of the day, I said, offense, defense, and special teams all contributed to that win. It didn't matter who was out there. It didn't matter what side of the ball. It wasn't no finger pointing either way. We all had a good hand in that, and that was the best thing to see. And if we can continue to do that, we're going to see progress in this football team. And there's still a lot of young players out there doing a lot of good things.
Just talk about the Hodges kid a little bit for Sanford. He's kind of does it all for them.
Does it all for him. He's done it all for the last 4 years. We will certainly be happy to see him graduate and move on. But the amazing thing about him is just watching him operate in it. You don't get a great feel for it, whether it's in TV, as what you do on live, what you do see on live on the sideline. I've seen him have to make some underhanded throws, just about completely sidearm. He can change his arm slot to make different throws. He's got such a knack for being able to put the ball on the money on the run. He's got great accuracy. He's got great confidence in his throws and what he can do. That's the exciting thing to watch him play. Unfortunately, it's not so exciting when you're the opposing coach, but you do see it on film all the time when you're watching game film on him. Is there's a guy in his way and he'll slide around it and just make a sidearm Brett Favre kind of throw off of 1 foot. And he's got tremendous receivers. He's got the McKnight kid is a great receiver. And what's the key to it? Do you drop 8? Do you drop 9 on the guy, or do you try to rush him and get some pressure on him, because he's just as dangerous with his feet.
Anything else? There you go.
Thank you.
I don't know how to take that down.
Lay it down. Don't take it off. Just lay it down.
I'll put the chairs up.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I don't think we will have one next week, leading in Bama.
Yep.
After that, we will not have it.